Chosen one, listen closely. If you are not walking the divine path of the Most High, this message is not for you. Only the ones who carry God's mark upon their spirit will feel called to stay. If your heart is aligned with heaven, if your soul has been restless and seeking confirmation, then stay right where you are. Because this message has been released to you at the exact moment you were meant to hear it. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is random. God aligned your steps so you would land on this very word right now. Chosen one, what I am about to share with you will shift something deep within your spirit. It will bring clarity to the confusion you've been carrying. It will confirm what your soul has been whispering for weeks, even months. And by the end of this message, you will understand exactly why God has placed a specific risk in front of you and why you must not ignore it. Before we continue, I want you to engage with this message so it reaches every chosen soul who needs it. Type 444 in the comments if you feel the pull of the Holy Spirit right now. Like this video, subscribe to Spirit Guide, tap the bell icon, and share this message with another chosen one who needs a divine confirmation today. Now breathe, open your heart, and follow me into this revelation. The Most High has something urgent to tell you. The divine risk God is speaking about. Chosen one, let us walk deeper into this revelation, because what God is asking you to do is not ordinary. It is not something the average person will understand, support, or even recognize as sacred. When God speaks of a risk, He is not speaking of careless leaps or reckless decisions. No. When the Most High speaks of risk, He is pointing you toward an action that stretches your faith, pushes your courage, and awakens your spiritual authority. This risk is a divine assignment wrapped in discomfort. It is a call that pulls you out of the familiar and into the territory where miracles unfold. Understand this. Every chosen one reaches a moment where God tests the depth of their obedience. Not because He doubts you, but because He is preparing you. A chosen soul cannot remain in one place. You are not meant to be stagnant, safe, or silent. You carry a destiny that demands movement. And this movement requires trust so deep that it overrides fear, doubt, logic, and the voices of those who do not walk with God. The risk God is placing before you right now may look like a change. A step, a decision, a release, an action that others will question, a move you cannot fully explain, a direction that seems uncertain, yet your spirit keeps nudging you toward it. That nudge is not your imagination. That pull is not random. It is a divine prompting. It is God whispering, "Walk. I am already ahead of you." Chosen one, many of you have been experiencing a restless stirring in your spirit. You felt uncomfortable where you are. You felt disconnected from old environments, old relationships, old routines. You've sensed that your season is shifting, but you can't quite articulate why people around you may see you as stable, grounded, or even successful. Yet inside your spirit, something keeps saying, there is more. That internal whisper is tied to the risk God is preparing you to take. Divine risks are different from earthly risks. Earthly risks rely on calculation, logic, and probability. Divine risks rely on faith, alignment, and obedience. Earthly risks ask, what if it doesn't work? Divine risks ask, what if this is the moment everything changes? Earthly risks look at resources. Divine risks look at purpose. Earthly risks want guarantees. Divine risks want your trust. The risk God is calling you to take may not make sense to people who do not carry spiritual sight. They may say it's too soon, too bold, too uncertain. But chosen one, you are not called to walk in the opinions of the crowd. You are called to walk in the direction of the Spirit. People who lack spiritual depth cannot comprehend divine instruction. They move by what they see. You move by what you hear. they follow logic. You follow God. Think of every great movement God ever initiated. Abraham leaving his homeland without knowing the destination. Moses returning to Egypt despite feeling inadequate. David stepping onto the battlefield with only a sling. Esther walking into the king's presence with no guarantee of favor. Each of them was asked to take a risk that felt bigger than them. Each of them had to stand in a moment where their faith outweighed their fear. And chosen one, now it is your turn. Some of you are being called to step out of a place that is comfortable but spiritually draining. Some of you are being asked to start something new, something you've been afraid to begin. Others are being tested to walk away from environments that God has already removed his hand from. Some of you are being instructed to speak, to confront, to create, to surrender, or to release something you've been holding on to too tightly. The risk will look different for each chosen one, but the spiritual assignment behind it is the same: obedience. Do not confuse discomfort with danger. Many chosen ones mistake spiritual stretching for spiritual warning. But hear me. When God pushes you into something uncomfortable, it is because he is elevating you. When the enemy pushes you into something uncomfortable, it is because he wants to destroy you. How do you tell the difference? Peace. Even in uncertainty, divine assignments carry peace. You may feel nervous, but you feel anchored. You may feel unsure, but you feel guided. You may not know the full path, but you feel the presence of God walking with you. This risk God is calling you into is not designed to break you. It is designed to reveal you. Divine risks expose the parts of you that you have forgotten. The strength you didn't know you had. The courage you didn't know you possessed. The purpose you didn't know you were ready for. God is not trying to take something from you. He is trying to bring something out of you. Many of you have been praying for signs, clarity, direction, and confirmation. You've been saying, God, show me if this is you. And chosen one, this message is that confirmation. When God wants to speak to his chosen ones, he uses timing, alignment, synchronicity, spiritual sensation, and divine messages. This is one of those messages. This is not coincidence. This is divine communication. You might feel the spiritual battle around this decision. You might feel attacked, anxious, or resistant. But hear me clearly. The presence of spiritual resistance is often proof that the risk is purposeful. The enemy does not attack what is insignificant. He only fights what is destined. If you feel spiritual warfare surrounding this decision, it is because there is something powerful waiting on the other side of your obedience. Chosen one, taking this risk is not about being fearless. It is about moving even while fear tries to whisper. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to bow to it. Fear says, "What if you fail?" God says, "What if this is the moment you rise?" Fear says, "You're not ready." God says, "I have prepared you." Fear says, "You might lose." God says, "Everything you truly need is on the other side." Before we move deeper into this message, pause for a moment and listen to your spirit. If something inside you is resonating, if something is awakening, if something feels divinely aligned, acknowledge it. This is how the chosen ones communicate with God, not through noise, but through the stillness within. If this is speaking to you, let your spirit respond. Let clarity rise. Let hesitation fall away. Let the divine message reach you fully. Now that you understand what this divine risk truly is, let us move forward. Because the Most High is not only calling you toward this risk, he is calling you to take it now. Let me reveal why the timing is so urgent. Why God is calling you to take this risk now. Chosen one, lean in, because this part of the message is critical. The Most High does not move without purpose, and he does not instruct his chosen ones to step forward unless heaven has already shifted something in the spiritual realm. The timing of God is never random. When he calls you into a risk, it is because the season around you has changed, even if your physical eyes haven't noticed it yet. For weeks, months, or even years, you've been walking through a preparation phase without realizing it. You have endured isolation, spiritual warfare, sudden endings, unexpected changes, emotional heaviness, and moments where everything familiar began to crumble. You thought these experiences were punishment, but they were preparation. God has been shaping you, refining you, stripping you of fear, pride, doubt, and dependency on the wrong things. Why? Because he needed you ready for this exact moment. Chosen one, look back at your recent season. You felt God moving things out of your life. People suddenly distanced themselves. Opportunities that once seemed promising fell apart. Paths that looked clear became blocked. That was not bad luck. That was divine rearrangement. God has been removing everything that can't go with you into this next chapter. He has been pruning your environment so the assignment in front of you wouldn't be delayed. Many chosen ones make a mistake. They believe the transition begins when God tells them to move. But the truth is, the transition begins long before the instruction arrives. God has been preparing your spirit so that when the risk appears, your soul recognizes it instantly. That's why you've been feeling that inner tug. That's why you've been sensing something shifting. That's why life hasn't felt normal lately. Heaven has been repositioning you. You see, chosen one, divine timing is precise. God waits for the moment when your spirit has matured enough to handle what your destiny requires. He waits until your faith has grown, your inner strength has sharpened, and your discernment has heightened. He doesn't call you when you feel ready. He calls you when you are spiritually ready, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. And right now, heaven is speaking. You are ready. You might still feel unsure. You might still feel unqualified. You might still feel like you don't have everything you need. But listen carefully. No chosen one in history ever felt perfectly prepared. No one God called ever said, "This is the perfect moment." Instead, God uses moments of uncertainty to reveal his power. He uses unlikely timing to show that it was never about your strength, but his. Think about the signs you've been experiencing recently. That sudden push to change your environment. That persistent thought you can't shake. That repeated dream. That spiritual message you keep receiving. That urge to let go of something or to begin something entirely new. These are not coincidences. They are divine confirmations. They are heaven's way of telling you that timing is now. Some of you have been feeling spiritually restless. You can't settle. You can't tolerate old cycles. The things that once satisfied you feel lifeless. The places you once felt comfortable now feel draining. Why? Because your spirit has outgrown your old season. When a chosen one reaches the end of a spiritual cycle, everything that no longer aligns begins to feel heavy and narrow. You cannot fit into what God has already called you out of. The risk before you is the bridge into your expansion. Chosen one, God is calling you to this risk now because there is a window open, a divine window, a moment in time where obedience unlocks supernatural acceleration. There are seasons where God tests your patience, and there are seasons where God tests your courage. You are standing in a season of courage. The risk God wants you to take is tied to an opportunity that will not wait forever. When heaven opens a door, it is for a purpose. But if the chosen one hesitates too long, the movement shifts, and the timing realigns to someone who is willing to obey. God is patient, but divine assignments are timely. This is why you feel urgency in your spirit. Not anxiety, urgency. There is a difference. Anxiety drains you. Urgency elevates you. Anxiety confuses you. Urgency clarifies your next step. You are being called now because the enemy has already sensed the shift. He knows something powerful is emerging from your obedience. That is why you've been experiencing increased spiritual pressure. Attacks, doubts, fatigue, distraction. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the louder the battlefield becomes. But hear me. The pressure is not a sign to retreat. It is a sign that the breakthrough is close. For some of you, the risk is connected to your purpose. For others, it is connected to your healing. For many, it is tied to your calling, your voice, your mission, your relationships, or your destiny. But for all chosen ones, the timing is orchestrated by Heaven. God has positioned the right individuals, opportunities, lessons, and spiritual protections around you at this moment. People who once rejected you have been removed because they cannot interfere with what God is about to build within you. Paths that were blocked have been blocked on purpose. Had you moved earlier, the timing would have crushed you. Had you moved later, you would have missed the alignment. Right now is the moment where the soil is fertile. Right now is the moment where the atmosphere is primed. Right now is the moment where your spirit is strong enough to receive, chosen one. Let me say this clearly. The reason God is calling you now is because you have reached a divine threshold, a point of no return. Once a chosen one crosses this spiritual boundary, the old life collapses and the new one activates. You have been standing in between, 1 foot in the old season, 1 foot in the new. The risk God is asking you to take is the step that shifts your entire life forward. This is why the message reached you today. At this very hour, God needed your heart soft, your mind open, and your spirit attentive. He needed you to reach a level of maturity where you no longer seek approval from others to follow divine instruction. He needed you to be tired of your old patterns, tired of repeating old cycles, tired of shrinking yourself, tired of dimming your light. Only then would you be willing to take the step He has been preparing you for. Chosen one, if this resonates in your spirit, acknowledge it. You may comment 777 again if the timing of this message feels divinely aligned. Let it be your confirmation. Now that you understand why God is calling you to take this risk now, we must go deeper. Because the Most High wants you to see what happens when a chosen one ignores the call. In the next part, I will reveal the spiritual consequences of holding back. The spiritual consequences of holding back. Chosen one. Before you take another step, you must understand something essential. When God places a divine risk before you, He is not merely offering an opportunity. He is issuing a spiritual command. And when a chosen one hesitates, delays, or refuses that command, there are consequences that unfold in the unseen realm long before anything changes in the physical world. This is the part many chosen ones overlook. They think saying "not yet," or "maybe later," or "I'm not ready" is harmless. But spiritually, hesitation creates a chain reaction. Every divine instruction carries a window, an appointed time where heaven aligns the environment, the path, and the blessings. When a chosen one holds back, they disrupt that alignment. Let me speak plainly to you as a wise elder who has walked through many seasons. When God says move and you stand still, you step into spiritual warfare. You are never meant to fight. Holding back creates spiritual stagnation. You begin to feel stuck, heavy, confused, and frustrated. Doors that were once open begin to close. Peace that once flowed easily begins to fade. Why? Because your spirit knows the direction, but your flesh refuses to follow. When the spirit and flesh conflict, your energy becomes divided. You cannot receive clarity when you resist obedience. Chosen one, the Most High reveals instructions step by step. If you delay the first step, the next steps remain hidden, and so you feel lost. Not because God abandoned you, but because you paused where He expected you to move. Another consequence is the repetition of spiritual lessons. God is patient, but He is also intentional. If you refuse a divine assignment, He will bring the lesson back around again, often with greater intensity. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. The longer you delay, the harder the lesson becomes. Some of the frustration you've been experiencing lately has nothing to do with the enemy. It is the discomfort of staying in a place God has already called you out of, chosen one. Holding back also creates spiritual heaviness. Your soul begins to feel burdened. You feel unmotivated, disconnected, uninspired. You may feel like your prayers aren't flowing the same way, like your creativity is blocked, or like your energy is being drained. This is because divine instructions carry divine energy. When you ignore that energy, it becomes internal pressure. You are carrying spiritual weight that was meant to be transformed into movement. Another consequence is delayed blessings. When you don't take the step God instructed you to take, the blessings attached to that step remain out of reach. Not lost, just delayed. God does not withhold blessings out of anger. He withholds them because the blessing belongs to a version of you that exists on the other side of obedience. If you don't step into that version, the blessing cannot activate. Let me explain something deeper. Divine blessings are location-based. When God wants to elevate you, He moves you into a new spiritual or physical position. If you remain in the wrong position, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or physically, you cannot access what God aligned for you. Holding back keeps you in the wrong place. Another consequence is spiritual misalignment. When a chosen one delays a divine command, their energy becomes out of sync with heaven's rhythm. Prayer feels weaker. Discernment becomes cloudy. Signs feel harder to interpret. You may start questioning things that were once clear. Misalignment happens not because you are doing something wrong, but because you are resisting something right. Chosen one, pay attention to this. Sometimes the enemy won't attack you with chaos. He will attack you with comfort. He will try to convince you that staying where you are is safer, more predictable, more stable. He will whisper doubts, magnify fear, and distort your sense of timing. If he can't destroy you, he will delay you. And delay is one of the enemy's most effective weapons against chosen ones. But there is a deeper consequence, one that few want to talk about. When a chosen one refuses an assignment for too long, God may give that assignment to someone else, not because he has rejected you, but because his will must be completed. Some divine missions cannot wait. Some callings must be carried out quickly. If you hesitate too long, God will raise another vessel willing to obey. That is why many chosen ones later look back and say, "That opportunity could have been mine," or "I feel like I missed something." It isn't regret, it is spiritual memory. Another consequence is emotional turbulence. When you ignore what your spirit is telling you, your emotions become unstable. You may feel irritated for no reason, restless at night, overwhelmed by small things, or hypersensitive to your environment. This happens because your spirit is pulling you toward a new path, but your mind is resisting. The internal conflict creates emotional pressure. You are not meant to feel peace in a season where you are out of alignment with your calling. Holding back also weakens confidence. Every time a chosen one ignores divine instruction, their self-trust decreases. You begin to question your ability to hear God. You start doubting your intuition. You wonder if you're spiritually disconnected. But the truth is, the connection is still there. You just haven't acted on what you heard. Confidence grows through obedience. Another consequence is the hardening of spiritual sensitivity. When you delay obedience repeatedly, your discernment becomes dulled. God still speaks, but you no longer hear clearly because you have trained yourself to ignore his voice. This is why many chosen ones feel distant from God during seasons of hesitation. It's not distance, it's disconnection caused by inaction. Chosen one, the consequences of holding back are not punishments. They are signals. Every discomfort is a message. Every delay is a warning. Every heaviness is a reminder. The spiritual consequences are designed to push you back onto the path God set before you. But hear this clearly. The greatest consequence of all is missing the version of yourself God intended you to become. Missing the stronger, wiser, more aligned, more empowered version of you. missing the identity that can only be unlocked through obedience. God does not want you to lose that version. He is calling you toward it. And that is why this message found you today. Now that you understand the consequences of hesitation, it is time to reveal something far more powerful. The breakthrough waiting for you on the other side of the risk. The breakthrough behind the risk. Chosen one, now that you understand the weight of hesitation, you must also understand the magnitude of what lies ahead. Because God would never ask you to take a risk unless He had already prepared a breakthrough on the other side. The Most High is not calling you into fear. He is calling you into fulfillment. And everything you've been praying for, preparing for, and longing for is tied to the step He is asking you to take. Hear me well. Your breakthrough is not somewhere far away. It is standing just beyond the edge of your obedience. All it requires is one bold movement forward. The risk God is asking you to take is not random. It is a spiritual doorway, a transition, a crossing over. For too long, you have been standing at the threshold of your next chapter. You have felt the pull, you have sensed the shift, and your spirit has been whispering, "It's time." But now, God is saying it loudly. Move. Because the breakthrough is already prepared. Let me show you what is waiting on the other side. When a chosen one obeys a divine command, heaven responds instantly. Not eventually, instantly. The moment you obey, the spiritual atmosphere rearranges itself. Opportunities that were hidden begin to reveal themselves. People who are aligned with your path begin to appear. Doors that were sealed suddenly unlock. This is because obedience aligns you with God's timing, and divine timing accelerates everything. One of the first breakthroughs you will notice is clarity. When you take the risk God has placed before you, confusion breaks, the fog lifts, questions that haunted you suddenly dissolve. You begin to see your life, your purpose, your path, and even your identity with spiritual sharpness. Obedience activates understanding. What once felt complicated becomes simple. What once felt heavy becomes light. What once felt uncertain becomes defined. Another breakthrough waiting for you is elevation. God is not calling you into this risk to keep you at the same level. This step is designed to elevate you spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and even materially. Many chosen ones pray for elevation, yet fear the steps that lead to it. But elevation cannot happen without movement. God raises those who obey Him even when they cannot see the full picture. The risk you take today becomes the platform for your rise tomorrow. You will also experience divine alignment. When you take this step, you will begin to notice that people who resonate with your purpose start to enter your life, your spiritual tribe, your destiny connections. Those who can walk with you, support you, sharpen you, and stand with you. God is positioning people who will recognize your calling, not question it. People who will honor your spirit, not drain it. People who are aligned with your mission, not threatened by it. This alignment is part of the breakthrough. Another blessing behind the risk is protection. Many chosen ones don't realize this. Obedience activates divine covering. When you move where God instructs, He places a shield around you. He guards your mind, your steps, your decisions, and even your energy. Attacks that once broke you no longer touch you the same way. Warfare that once overwhelmed you becomes powerless. This is because you are no longer standing in your own strength, you are standing in God's will, and nothing can penetrate the will of God. Breakthrough also comes in the form of provision. When God instructs you to take a risk, He has already prepared resources, support, opportunities, and blessings that match the assignment. You may not see them yet, but they are waiting. Divine provision is released when divine obedience is activated. Some chosen ones hesitate because they worry about what they lack, but what you lack is already being prepared. The Most High does not send you into a season empty-handed. He provides for the journey He calls you to take. Another breakthrough is inner transformation. When you obey God in a moment of uncertainty, your spirit grows, your faith strengthens, your confidence expands, your discernment sharpens. You begin to realize who you truly are, a vessel chosen, equipped, and empowered by God Himself. You discover a strength you didn't know you had. You uncover courage you thought was beyond you. Your identity as a chosen one becomes undeniable. This transformation alone is worth the risk. But there is something even deeper behind the risk. Destiny activation. Every chosen one carries an assignment, something only you can release into this world. When you take this step, you activate that assignment on a higher level. Doors open that match your purpose. Opportunities align that match your calling. Paths appear that match your spiritual identity. You don't just step into a new chapter, you step into your destiny. Chosen one, I need you to hear this clearly. The blessing attached to this risk is far greater than the risk itself. What feels uncertain to you is already certain to God. What feels heavy to you is already handled by heaven. What you fear losing is nothing compared to what God is preparing to give you. And this is why the enemy fights you so intensely before a major breakthrough. He senses what you cannot yet see. He knows the shift that will happen once you obey. He knows the power you will walk in. He knows the blessings that will surround you. And he knows that once you take this step, you will never return to the old version of yourself again. If you have felt unusually attacked, unusually discouraged, unusually tired, or unusually pressured lately, it is because you are standing right next to your breakthrough. The enemy is trying to exhaust you before you cross over. Do not let him win. The intensity is proof of what's waiting for you. Chosen one, take a deep breath and listen to your spirit. If it's resonating, if something is stirring, if your heart feels pulled toward this message, acknowledge it. This is your confirmation. This is your sign. This is your moment. You are not being pushed into darkness, you are being pulled into destiny. And if your spirit feels aligned with this revelation, you may type 777 once more as a symbol of divine completion and forward movement. Now that you understand the breakthrough behind the risk, it is time to learn how to take this step with spiritual wisdom and divine guidance. In the next section, I will show you exactly how to move in alignment with God, how to take the risk with God's guidance. Chosen one, now that you recognize the weight of this divine risk and the breakthrough waiting behind it, you must learn how to step forward with God's guidance, not with human impulse. A divine risk is not taken with hurried emotion or unstable desire. It is taken with spiritual discipline, inner clarity, and unwavering trust. This next part is where your path shifts. Hear these words as if an elder is speaking them directly into your spirit. The first thing you must do is enter a sacred silence within yourself. You cannot hear God clearly if the noise around you is louder than your own spirit. The Most High speaks in stillness. You cannot bring every voice, every opinion, every distraction into the place where God is revealing your next step. This silence is not about isolation from the world. It is an intentional pulling back so you can perceive what is already being whispered inside you. When you remove noise, you remove confusion. When you become quiet, you begin to hear what was always there. From that silence, you must step into prayer, not the hurried kind, but prayer that reaches deep into your soul. This is the moment where you ask God not just for answers, but for alignment. You ask Him to make your spirit steady. You ask Him to remove the fear that clouds your judgment. Many chosen ones want clarity before obedience, but clarity often comes after obedience. Your prayer in this season should be focused on courage, discernment, and the strength to take the step God is calling you toward, even if you cannot see where it will lead. As you pray, discernment begins to awaken. you will start to feel the difference between God's instruction and your own thoughts. Divine instruction is persistent. It keeps coming back. It sits on your spirit with weight and truth. It does not rush you with fear, and it does not speak in the tone of anxiety. God's guidance carries peace, even when it challenges you. Fear may make you hesitate, but obedience will feel right. You will sense it deeper than logic. Discernment is not about analyzing. It is about recognizing what your soul already knows. When discernment becomes clear, surrender becomes necessary. Surrender is the moment where you say, God, I trust you more than I trust my understanding. It is not weakness, it is maturity. Surrender breaks the chains of overthinking. Surrender removes the pressure of controlling every outcome. Surrender softens your heart so God can move freely through you. Many chosen ones delay because they cling to what feels familiar, but surrender teaches you that the familiar is not always the safe place. Sometimes it is the very thing holding you back from your blessing. After surrender, your spirit begins to prepare itself. Spiritual preparation is not always visible from the outside. It happens quietly, internally, in moments where you suddenly feel the need to detach from certain routines, conversations, or relationships. It happens when you feel a shift in your desires, your mindset, or your priorities. This preparation is God conditioning your spirit so the step you take will be supported, not sabotaged, by your inner world. When preparation begins, you will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is not a warning, it is transformation. Once your spirit is prepared, obedience becomes the next natural step. Obedience is not loud, it is not dramatic. Sometimes it is a quiet decision, sometimes it is a small action that changes everything. Sometimes obedience looks like letting something go, sometimes it looks like beginning something new. The step may feel small to you, but the impact is enormous in the spiritual realm. When you obey, heaven moves. When you obey, your path aligns. When you obey, blessings shift into motion. Obedience is how chosen ones activate their destiny. From obedience comes confidence, not earthly confidence based on ability or resources, but divine confidence that comes from walking in God's will. When you take a step directed by God, you begin to feel lighter, stronger, more aligned, more certain. This confidence is a sign you are becoming who God designed you to be. It is not arrogance, it is clarity. It is spiritual assurance that you are not walking alone. It is knowing that every step you take is supported by the one who has already prepared your future. But chosen one, even with obedience and confidence, you must also practice patience. Divine movements unfold in divine timing. Not all breakthroughs appear instantly. Some doors open slowly so your spirit can mature as you walk through them. Patience is not punishment. Patience is preparation. God uses waiting seasons to strengthen what is fragile inside you. He uses time to reveal what needs to be released. He uses the pause to align the right people, opportunities, and outcomes. When you are patient, you move in rhythm with heaven. As you walk this path, spiritual protection must remain strong. When you step into a divine assignment, the enemy becomes aware. He may attempt to confuse your mind, drain your energy, or distract your focus. This is why prayer, solitude, spiritual grounding, and connection with God must become your daily armor. Protect your peace. Protect your time. Protect your environment. Protect your mind. Do not allow the enemy to steal what God is building within you. Finally, the chosen one must walk in alignment. Alignment means continuing forward even when you don't yet see the reward. It means refusing to return to old patterns or old attachments. It means holding on to your spiritual identity even when the world tries to pull you back into who you used to be. When you remain aligned, you stay connected to your mission. You stay connected to your purpose. You stay connected to your destiny. Alignment keeps you on the path God laid before you. This chosen one, is how you take a divine risk. With silence, prayer, discernment, surrender, preparation, obedience, confidence, patience, protection, and alignment woven together seamlessly in your spirit. If you follow this path, you will not stumble. God Himself will steady your steps. Now that you understand how to move, we must explore who you become after you take this step. The new identity of the chosen one after the risk. Chosen one, once you take this divine risk, you will not be the same person you were before. You must understand this clearly. A divine step does not simply change your situation, it changes your spirit. It changes the way you walk, think, speak, and see the world. It awakens an identity within you that has been waiting quietly for the right moment to rise. And that moment is the one you step into when you obey God's instruction. The chosen ones are not transformed by comfort, they are transformed by obedience. When you step into the unknown with God, something inside you unlocks. You begin to realize that you were never meant to live small, silent, or afraid. You were meant to walk in authority. You were meant to move with purpose. You were meant to carry a spiritual weight that others cannot understand. Once you take this risk, you step into that identity naturally, because the old version of you no longer fits the path you're walking. One of the first transformations you will notice is a deeper spiritual awareness. Your senses sharpen. Your intuition heightens. Your ability to discern truth from distraction becomes stronger. You begin to see beyond the surface of things. You no longer get confused by the noise of the world because your spirit has learned how to hear God's direction clearly. Your mind becomes more peaceful, more focused, and more aligned with the Holy Spirit. This is because obedience opens your spiritual eyes. You begin to see life from a divine perspective instead of a fearful one. Another part of your new identity is confidence, not the kind the world gives, but the kind rooted in divine purpose. This confidence does not come from accomplishments or validation. It comes from knowing that you took a step that heaven honored. When you obey a divine instruction, you feel heaven backing you. You feel supported, you feel protected, and this creates a confidence that cannot be shaken by people, opinions, setbacks, or fear. You start to move differently because you know God is walking with you. You speak more boldly, you make decisions more firmly, you trust yourself more deeply. This is the confidence of one who has stepped into alignment. You will also begin to feel a new strength, a spiritual strength that does not come from willpower, but from identity. You survived battles that were meant to break you. You overcame fears that once held you back. You resisted doubt when it tried to suffocate your purpose. This journey awakens resilience inside you. You no longer bend under pressure the way you used to. You no longer fall apart at the sight of difficulty. You become steady, grounded, unmoved, because you know who stands beside you. As this new identity emerges, you will also notice a deeper sense of peace. Taking a divine risk brings peace because it removes the spiritual tension of resisting God's will. Before you obeyed, you felt internal conflict. You felt heaviness. You felt indecision. But afterward, peace settles in your spirit like a quiet river. Even in uncertainty, you feel calm. Even in transition, you feel held. Peace becomes your anchor, and that peace is proof that you are exactly where God wants you to be. Your relationships will also shift as your identity transforms. Once you take this step, you will attract people who align with your purpose. You will find yourself surrounded by those who recognize your calling, who understand your journey, and who speak life into your spirit. People who were never meant for your destiny will fall away naturally. You will no longer chase those who don't respect your path. You will no longer cling to those who drain your energy. Your new identity draws in your true spiritual tribe, people chosen by God to walk beside you. Another part of your transformation is the sharpening of your voice. After taking this risk, you will speak with more authority and clarity. Your words will carry weight because they come from a place of truth and obedience. You will no longer speak from doubt. you will speak from revelation. You will no longer speak from fear. You will speak from experience. You become a vessel God can use to deliver messages, guide others, and shift the spiritual atmosphere around you. Your purpose also becomes clearer after you take this risk. Before, your calling may have felt blurry or distant, but once you obey, the path becomes illuminated. You begin to recognize the gifts God placed in you. You begin to understand the missions He is preparing you for. You begin to see why you endured certain seasons, why you met certain people, why you survived certain battles. Purpose becomes more than an idea, it becomes a direction. Chosen one, taking this divine risk also elevates your spiritual authority. You gain access to a deeper level of trust with heaven. You become someone God can rely on, someone He can send, someone He can use. This authority is not loud or boastful. It is quiet power. People feel it when you enter a room, they sense it when you speak. They recognize something different in your energy. This is the authority of someone who obeyed God when it mattered. Your identity also becomes more grounded in truth. You stop doubting who you are. You stop questioning your worth. You stop apologizing for your spiritual gifts. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You begin to stand fully as the person God created you to be. You walk in authenticity. You walk in purpose. You walk in alignment. And chosen one, here is something powerful. Once you take this risk, you break an old cycle that has followed you for years. You step out of patterns that kept you small. You step out of fears that kept you silent. You step out of limitations that kept you trapped. You no longer remain in places where your soul is suffocating. You step into new spiritual territory. You step into new blessings. You step into new dimensions of your calling. This is transformation on a soul level. The chosen one you become after the risk is wiser, braver, clearer, and more connected to God than ever before. You will notice that your prayers deepen. Your insight sharpens. Your purpose becomes louder inside you. This step is not just about what you achieve. It is about who you become. Now that your identity is awakening, we move toward the closing of this divine revelation. Conclusion. Chosen one, now that you have received this message, you must understand something clearly. It did not come to you by chance. It did not appear on your screen because of an algorithm or coincidence. This is divine timing. This is spiritual alignment. This is God reaching into your life at the exact moment you were ready to hear Him. What you choose to do next is sacred. The risk before you is not meant to intimidate you. It is meant to elevate you. It is a doorway, and once you walk through it, the life you have been praying for, preparing for, and dreaming of begins to unfold. You have been stretched, tested, refined, and strengthened for this very moment. You have endured seasons that felt heavy, confusing, and isolating, not because God abandoned you, but because He was preparing you for a higher level. This is your crossing point. This is your spiritual threshold. Everything behind you prepared you. Everything ahead of you will expand you. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into destiny. Chosen one, do not let fear silence your obedience. Do not let hesitation delay your blessing. Do not let doubt steal what heaven has already placed in your path. Walk forward boldly. Walk forward with authority. Walk forward knowing the Most High is guiding every step. You are protected, you are chosen, and you are ready. If this message spoke to your spirit, share it so another chosen soul may find their confirmation. And if you have not already, subscribe to Spirit Guide and tap the bell icon so you never miss a divine message meant for you. Go now with courage. Go with clarity. Go with the certainty that God Himself is walking beside you. Your new chapter begins when you take the step.